of the week at that post. I edited that paper 6 days, and I had 5 duels on my hands. I would not have minded that if it had been the custom for those other people to challenge me. Then I would have simply declined with thanks. But it was not that way. If you abused a man in the paper, if you called him names, they had no laws there such as we have. If he didn't like it, you had to challenge him and shoot him. I didn't want to do this. But my publisher said, "It is the custom. Society must be protected. If you cannot do the duties of your position, I will have to hire somebody else." This man I was supposed to challenge to a duel, he got touched at something I wrote about him. I don't know what it was now. I may have called him a thief or a grave robber or an idiot or something. He fought very shy of me at first, so I plied him with bloodthirsty challenges all the more. And finally, he began to take an interest in this thing. It seemed as if he really was going to take part in it at last. This was not a turn of events I was expecting to see happen, but the boys were excited about this. I had chosen for my second a fiery, peppery little fellow named Steve Gillis. I'll tell more about Steve and his brother Jim later. Anyway, Steve was full of fight and anxious to get this thing fixed up right away. He took me over into a little ravine beyond the town to practice. It was the custom at that time to fight with Colt's revolvers at 15 steps. We had borrowed a stable door for Mark from a gentleman who was absent. We set up that stable door, then we propped a fence rail up against the middle of it to represent my antagonist, and we put a squash on top of it to represent his head. He was a very light, thin man, very thin, the poorest kind of material for a duel. There was no luck about it. I could not hit the rail, and I could not hit the squash. And when I found I could not hit the door either, I began to get a little discouraged. But then, when I noticed I crippled one of the boys occasionally, I thought it was not so bad. I was dangerous with a pistol, just not reliable. Finally, we heard some shooting going on over in the other arena. We knew what that was. The other party was practicing. I did not feel comfortable. If they were to straggle over the ridge and see what was going on and notice that there were no hole in the barn door, that would be too much encouragement. Just then, a little bird, a little larger than a sparrow, lit on a sagebrush. Steve whipped out his pistol and shot the bird's head off. The boys picked up the bird, and we were talking about it. The other party, dueling party, came over the ridge to see what was going on. My adversary's second saw the bird and asked Steve, "How far off was that?" Steve said, "About 30 steps." "Who did that?" "Twain, of course." "Did he not? Can he do that often?" "He can do that about 4 times out of 5. Well, I knew that little rascal was lying, but I didn't like to tell him so. I was that kind of man that didn't like to be too frank or too familiar in a matter such as that, so I didn't say anything. But it was a comfort to see those other fellows' underjaws drop. You see him turn blue about the gills and look sick. They went off, got their man, took him home. When I got home, I found a little note from those parties, peremptorily declining the fight. How sore the boys were, how indignant they were, and so was I. But I was not distressed about it. I thought I could stand it, perhaps. But then, something happened to change my life. We received word that Nevada had just passed a law making dueling, or even challenging someone to a duel, a penitentiary offense for both the principals and the seconds. That was to be strictly enforced, and unless we got out of town in a limited number of hours, An example was to be made of us. So just as my piloting days had ended because of the outbreak of war, my Nevada days ended because of an aborted duel. Steve and I got on a stagecoach for San Francisco, an outrageous and rollicking city full of bohemians. I soon found work as a reporter on a paper there, the Morning Call. Speaking of rollicking, I wasn't that long in Frisco before experiencing something that city was to become well known for. An earthquake. This was one which was long called the Great Earthquake. It was just after noon on a bright October day. I was walking down 3rd Street. The only objects in motion in that thick and populously built quarter were a man in a buggy behind me and a streetcar running its way slowly up the cross street. All else was solitude and a Sabbath stillness. As I turned the corner around a frame house, there was a great rattle and jar, and it occurred to me that here was an item, no doubt of fight, in this house. Before I could turn and seek the door, there came a really terrific shock. The ground seemed to roll under me in waves, interrupted by a violent jogging up and down. And then there was a heavy grinding noise as of brick houses rubbing together. I knew what it was now. And for mere repertorial instinct, nothing else, took out my watch, noted the time of day. Suddenly there was a third and still severer shock. And as I was reeling about on the pavement, trying to keep my footing, I saw a sight. The entire front of a tall 4-story brick building on 3rd Street sprung outward like a door and went sprawling across the street, raising the dust like a great volume of smoke. Here came the buggy. Overboard went the man, and in less time than I can tell it, that vehicle was distributed in small fragments along 300 yards of street. Every door of every house, as far as the eye could reach, was depositing a stream of human beings onto the street. Never was solemn solitude turned into teeming life quicker. The curiosities of the earthquake were simply endless. One woman who had been washing a naked child ran down the street holding it by the ankles as if it were a dressed turkey. A prominent editor flew downstairs in the principal hotel with nothing on but a brief undergarment, met a chambermaid and exclaimed, "What should I do? Where should I go?" She responded with naïve serenity, "My track clothing store." In Oakland, the minister said after the first shock, "Keep your seats. There is no better place to die than this." And then added after the 3rd shock, "But outside is good enough," and skipped out at the back door. Skipping makes me think of the time that I had to skip town. In November 1864, my friend Steve Gillis got into one of his frequent barroom fights and badly beat up a bartender. I signed a $500 bail bond to keep Steve out of jail for a time. Steve fled back to Virginia City. He had found out that the bartender he had beat up was a close friend of the chief of police of Frisco and did not think it would be good for his health to stick around. Steve urged me to get out of town too, but rather than go back to Virginia City, I went up into the foothills to where Steve's brother Jim lived in a cabin. Steve was a gold prospector, pocket miner up there. While I was up there on Jackass Hill, the place had that name before I got there. I heard a very interesting story told by a man named Ben Kuhn from Illinois. He had been a steamboat pilot, but now he was tending bar at a hotel over in Angels Camp over in Calaveras County. I'm going to try to tell the story the same way I remember him telling it, in his manner and with his peculiarities of speech. Try to imagine yourself there. This is the winter of 64, 65, cold, rainy day in Angels Camp. Ben was behind his bar. Patrons of the bar sitting here and there. Some were sitting on chairs on the floor. I was sitting in a chair by the stove, trying to keep warm, with a glass of sarsaparilla or something. This is how I remember Ben telling the story. Solomon Wheeler was a good deal of a talker. He wore out 3 sets of false teeth talking. He had a friend named Jim Smiley. Jim Smiley was the curiousest man that you ever see when it comes to betting on anything that turned up, as long as he could get anybody to bet on the other side. And if he couldn't, he would change sides. As soon as he got a bet, he was satisfied. One day, he catched a frog. Said he calculated to educate that frog. He took him home and never done nothing for 3 months but sat in his backyard and learned that frog how to jump. And he did learn him to, he did. Why, come to jump on a dead level, no frog could touch him at all. Come to jump on a dead level, he could lay over any frog in the profession, and Smiley broke all the camps around there betting on that frog. One day, he had a misfortune. He used to keep his frog in a little lattice box. The frog's name was Daniel Webster. He would take that box and go downtown and lay for a bet. One day a fellow came up, a stranger in the camp he was. He says, "What might it be that you've got in that box?" Smiley says, "Well, it might be a polecat. It might be a pile of gold nuggets. But it ain't. It's only just a frog." The stranger said, "Well, what's he good for?" Smiley says, "I don't know, but I can tell you he's good enough for one thing. He can outjump any frog in Calaveras County." Well, the stranger took that box and he turned it around this way and that way, and he looked Daniel Webster all over very critically. And finally handed the box back and said, "I don't see any points about that frog that's any better than any other frog." Smiley says, "Well, it might be that you understand frogs, and it might be that you're only just an amateur, so to speak. I have my own opinion about that. But anyway, I will risk $40 if he can outjump any frog in Calaveras County." Well, that stranger, he looked sad, sorrowful, grieved even. He said, "I'm only a stranger in the camp. I ain't got no frog. If I had a frog, I would bet you." Smiley says, "That's all right. That's all right. You hold my frog, I will go get you a frog." Smiley lit out to the swamp. Meanwhile, a stranger stood there and waited the longest time. Finally, he took Daniel Webster out of the box, pried his mouth open, took a teaspoon, and filled him full of quail shot. Filled him clean up to the chin. Set him down on the floor. Daniel sit there. Meanwhile, Smiley flopped around in the swamp for about half an hour, and finally he caught the frog and he brought him to this fella. And they put up the money, and Smiley says, "Now put that new frog down on the floor with his front paws just even with Daniel's, and I'll give the word. 1, 2, 3, scoop." And it touched up the frogs from behind to indicate the time was called. And that new frog, he rose like a rocket and came down kerchunk about 1.5 yards from where he had started. A perfectly elegant jump for a non-professional that way. Smiley's frog gave a heave or two with his shoulders. His ambition was up, but it was no use. He couldn't budge. He was stuck there as solid as an anvil. The stranger took the money, started to walk away, looked back over his shoulder and said, "Well, I don't see any points about that frog that's any better than any other frog." And Smiley looked down at Daniel Webster. "I never seen a man look so puzzled. I wonder that frog throwed up for? Must be something the matter with him. Looks mighty baggy somehow. Hefted him and says, blame my cats if he don't weigh 5 pounds. Turned him over and he belched out a hatful of shot. Spider said, that has been a lesson to me. And I say, let that be a lesson to you. This life is full of uncertainties, and every episode in life is, figuratively speaking, just a frog. You want to watch every exigency as you would a frog. And do not bet a cent on it unless you know it is not loaded. When my adaptation of that story was printed, it made quite a stir, quite a sensation. Not only on the Pacific slope, where I already had some notoriety, but even back east and throughout the world. I eventually became celebrated enough myself that I started to give lectures to full houses in San Francisco and all over Northern California and Nevada. I lectured back in my old haunts in Nevada. Now, a couple of days before I got to Virginia City, 2 stagecoaches were robbed near the town. This event was on everybody's mind when I arrived. The night after lecturing in Virginia City, I went over the desolate divide to Gold Hill and lectured there. At 11 that night, I began walking back to Virginia City along with my agent Mike. The divide was a high unoccupied ground between the towns, the scene of 20 midnight murders and 100 robberies. We're about walking back. Steve said, I don't like this place at night. I said, you needn't speak so loud. Remind somebody that we are here. Just then, a dim figure approached me from the direction of Virginia City. I stepped out of the way to let him pass. He stepped in the way again and confronted me. Then I noticed he had a mask on and was holding something in my face. I heard a click, click, and recognized a revolver and dim outline. I shoved the barrel aside with my hand and said, don't. He said, your watch, your money. I said, you can have them with pleasure, but please take the pistol away from my face. It makes me shiver. No remarks. Hand out your money. Certainly, I put up your hands. Don't you go for a weapon. Put them up, higher. I held up my hands. Presently, he said, are you going to hand out your money or not? I dropped my hands in my pocket. Certainly, I put up your hands. You want your head shot off? Are you going to hand out your money or not? Again, put up your hands. Well, friend, you tell me to go for my money, and then when I reach for you, please take some of those pistols away from my face. Every time one of them clicks, my liver comes up into my throat. You have a mother. If any of you has a mother. If any of you has ever had a mother. Grandmother? She's it. Are you going to hand out your money, or have we got to? Gentlemen, I'm doing the best I can. You tell me to hold up my hands, and so I can't reach my money. But if one of you would be so kind as to take it out for me, I will gladly do the same for you sometime. Search him, Beauregard, and stop his jaw with a bullet quick if he wags it again. Help Beauregard, Stonewall. After everything had been taken from me, watch, money, and a multitude of trifles of small value, our attackers disappeared into the gloom after telling us to stand still and keep our hands up for 10 minutes. It was depressingly still and miserably cold. Now, this whole thing was a practical joke. And the robbers were personal friends of ours in disguise. 20 more lay hidden within 10 feet of us during the whole operation listening. Mike knew this and was in on the joke. I suspected nothing. To me, it was most uncomfortably genuine. When we had stood there in the middle of the road for 5 minutes like a couple of idiots with our hands aloft, freezing to death by inches, Mike's interest in the joke began to wane. "The time's up now, ain't it?" I said, "No, you keep still. You don't want to take any chances with these bloody savages." Presently, Mike said, "Now the time's up anyway. I'm freezing." I said, "Well, freeze. Better freeze than carry your brains home in a basket." "Maybe the time's up, but how do we know? Got no wash to tell by. I mean to give them good measure. I calculate to stand here 15 minutes or die. Don't you move." So without knowing it, I was making one joker very sick of his contract. When we took our arms down at last, they were aching with cold and fatigue. And when we went sneaking off, the dread I was in, that the time was not yet up, and we would feel bullets in a moment, was not sufficient to draw all my attention from the misery that racked my aching body. Not long after this incident, I decided to leave the far west and return home. When I had come out to Nevada with Orion in 1861, I had expected to be gone 3 months. I thought the war would surely be over by then. It ended up being 5 years and more in Nevada and California for me. To make a long story short, not long after I returned home, I was engaged to take part in a pleasure excursion to Europe and the Holy Land, and write about it. This became a book called The Innocents Abroad, still my best-selling book. The group on the ship that I was a part of, we called ourselves the Quaker City Nighthawks, the Quaker City being the name of the ship on which we traveled. We called all of our foreign guides Ferguson. That was easier than trying to remember a new name in every city, and especially those strange and unpronounceable foreign names. Speaking of that, foreign guides know just about enough English to tangle everything up so that a man can make neither head or tail of it. They know their story by heart, the history of every statue, painting, cathedral, or other wonder they show you. They know it and tell it as a parrot would. If you interrupt and throw them off the track, they have to go back and begin all over. All their lives long, these guides are employed in showing strange things to foreigners and listening to their bursts of admiration. It's human nature to take delight in